Today, I put NBA players back on their last team. For example, the Philadelphia 76ers. Jimmy Butler is back. James Harden, after finally getting his trade to the Clippers, is back in Philadelphia once again. Philadelphia also has players like Markelle Fultz, Ben Simmons, and TJ McConnell back on the team. Drew Holiday is back in Milwaukee after a short time away from the team. The Chicago Bulls are absolutely terrible, but don't worry, Wendell Carter Jr. is back. My Glorious King is back in Cleveland, so is Lauri Markkanen. They've still got Garland, Mobley, Jordan Clarkson is back, Colin Sexton is back. Yeah, this team's going to be tough. Boston still has their duo of JT and JB, but they do add in Terry Rozier. They did lose out on Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis, though. SGA is back with the Clippers. Let me know what y'all think. Do you think that the Clippers made a mistake by trading him and all those picks away, even if it meant landing Kawhi Leonard and Paul George? Oh yeah, also NBA legend Tobias Harris is back. The Grizzlies are pretty much still the Grizzlies, except Dylan the Villain is back in town. Also, how could I forget about Jonas Valanciunas and Tyus Jones? The Hawks lose DeJounte Murray. The Miami Heat, of course, end up losing out on Jimmy Butler as he's back in Philly. The Hornets are still garbage. Best buddies Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert are reunited in Utah. Bogdanovich, Mike Conley, they're also back. So pretty much the core that they had all those years they were making the playoffs is back in Utah. Tyrese Halliburton is back with the Kings. So is Buddy Hield. Halliburton and Fox is a bit of a weird pairing because you kind of want the ball in both of their hands, but since Halliburton's a bit taller, I'll slide him to the 2. The New York Knicks lose Julius Randle. The Lakers lose my Glorious King, Anthony Davis. Yeah, they're cooked. But don't worry, the Brody is back. They've also got Kyle Kuzma, Brook Lopez, and Brandon Ingram. Brook Lopez would have been a perfect fit in LA next to Anthony Davis. Magic bring back Aaron Gordon and Nikola Vucevic. I don't want to speak for Magic fans, but I feel like moving on from AG and Vooch was a solid move. I mean, you were able to move into a rebuild, and overall, I think it's going to be for the better for this team. The Mavericks bring back Jalen Brunson. Man, they fumbled by not re-signing him and letting him leave to go to New York. Also, Spencer Dinwiddie and Christian Wood are back. Christian Wood loved his time in Dallas last time, so he's back for more. Brooklyn Nets have KD and Kyrie. They've also got Clax, Jared Allen, and the greatest scorer of all time, Cam Thomas. Also, how could I forget Andre Drummond is back, and bubble legend TJ Warren is here as well. Bro, that's actually tragic. TJ is not in the league anymore. He was going toe-to-toe with Jimmy, beefing with him in the bubble, and now he doesn't even have a spot in the NBA. That is wild. Denver Nuggets bring back Bruce Brown. Indiana Pacers have Domantas Sabonis back in town. And also, of course, Karis LeVert. LeVert will just pop off here or there and go for huge scoring games. Now the Pelicans, they're going to be interesting. They got Julius Randle, Zion, Anthony Davis, Alonzo, Steven Adams, Trey Murphy. Oh my goodness. Cash Money Chris is back in Detroit. So is Jeremy Grant. Kawhi is back in his favorite city, Toronto. He loved it there so much that he left after winning Finals MVP. Also, Fred VanVleet is back, and Kyle Lowry is here with his low center of gravity. If you know, you know. The Houston Rockets are still garbage, but don't worry, Clint Capella is here to save the day. DeMar DeRozan is back in San Antonio, so is DeJounte Murray. Man, would I love to see somebody who could actually facilitate to get Wembanyama the ball. They've been running Jeremy Sohan at the point guard, and it has been one of the worst things I've ever watched. No offense, his one-handed free throws are cool and all, but oh my goodness, just let Trey Jones be the point guard, because whenever he's not the point guard, you've got Devin Vassell cross-tween and pulling shots, Keldon Johnson cross-tween pulling shots, and Wembanyama just doesn't get the basketball. 1 million time NBA champion Chris Paul is back in Phoenix, so is Mikal. And DeAndre Ayton is back in his favorite place as well. Jay Crowder, after his trade request out of Phoenix, is back. That was a bad shot. Al Horford is also here. Andrew Wiggins back in Minnesota. They've also got Levine, Ant-Man, Cat. I don't know, man. They might have a nice little team here in Minnesota. D-Loading is here as well. Dame and CJ are back. Man, they lost so many good role players whenever they had Dame. This front office was just terrible at giving Dame good players to play alongside of. The best friends are reunited in Golden State. The greatest second overall pick of all time is back as well. Bradley Beal and KP are back in Washington, so is Rui Hachimura and KCP. They might win 20 games this year. And that's it for the roster overview. Let's simulate the season. Congrats to Giannis on the MVP, Amen Thompson Rookie of the Year, Aaron Gordon 6th Man, Giannis DPOY, Kobe White Most Improved, and Giannis also wins Clutch Player of the Year. Nick Nurse wins Coach of the Year. for the Sixers. They have a really great squad in Philadelphia. Here's the All-NBA first team. A lot of players who you would expect. Notably, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is back with the Clippers, and he's doing big stuff. LeBron James on the All-NBA second team back in Cleveland. Numbers were kind of mid, but they had some solid players who probably took away some touches from him, so I guess that's probably why. Tyrese Halliburton makes All-NBA as well. That's pretty surprising. I mean, no disrespect to Halliburton, but I just didn't expect to see him here. And also Sabonis makes it. So the two guys who got traded for each other on the All-NBA third team alongside one another. Jimmy Butler is also here. And you've got Donovan Mitchell for the Utah Jazz putting up big scoring numbers, doing his thing. Luka Doncic, of course, the defensive mastermind on the all-defensive first team. You've got SGA, Lonzo, Bron, Tatum, Mobley on the second team. Also alongside Luka on the first team, you've got Amen in his rookie season. It's crazy. And you've got Giannis, Jaren, and Nick Claxton. We'll do a quick little look at the standings just to see how teams did. You had the Philadelphia 76ers coming in at number 1 in the Eastern Conference. It makes sense why. Their team is absolutely stacked, and it looks like they traded for Caleb Martin to add to their roster. Brooklyn Nets come in second with KD and Kyrie. You got Cam Thomas at the 2, giving them some buckets as well. I mean, you talk about two of the most skilled scorers of all time in Cam Thomas and Yuta Watanabe. Of course, they're going to win a lot of basketball games. Boston Celtics, yeah, they have a really nice squad. Cavs coming fourth with Bron. Cavs have a well-rounded lineup around LeBron James, so I think that was probably a big difference maker for them as well. Atlanta Hawks end up coming in fifth. John Collins is back. Utah Jazz legend returns to the Hawks. He was in trade rumors with the Hawks just year after year when he was actually with that team. And the Bucks come in sixth with Drew and Giannis. Out west, you got the Utah Jazz at number 1. I mean, they have a solid lineup, but I'm guessing D. Mitch was kind of backpacking this season. They had Rudy Gobert coming off the bench with Walker Kessler starting. Yeah, New Orleans, I expected them to be good. They ended up trading for Al Horford. They've got pretty solid depth, and the starting 5 is also really good. Julius Randle starting at the 3 is kind of nasty, though. Phoenix Suns end up coming in third with Mikal, Book, CP3, DeAndre Ayton. It's almost like this team made the finals before. The Portland Trailblazers are fourth. I mean, yeah, they have some solid role players on the team. They opted to start Josh Hart over CJ McCollum, though. That's kind of a crazy choice. Memphis Grizzlies come in fifth. Valanciunas is back. So is Tyus Jones. Team is just solid. And the Oklahoma City Thunder with Paul George and Josh Giddey along with Jalen Williams, Chet, Lou Dort end up making it as the 6th seed. So for round number 1, I went through all the series pretty quickly, but I wanted to stop if we had any game 7s. So ultimately, Philadelphia beat Orlando in 4 in advance. The Celtics beat the Bucks in a sweep in advance. The Nets beat the Pistons in 5 and they're moving on. Utah swept the Nuggets. The Grizzlies swept the Portland Trailblazers. The Phoenix Suns beat the Thunder in 6. And then we've got game 7s between Cleveland and Atlanta, and then New Orleans and Golden State. So checking out this Cleveland versus Atlanta game 7. I don't know how LeBron James found himself in this situation. I mean, his roster is way better, but somehow we're in a game 7 here. So let's get into the Simcast and see if maybe the Hawks can pull off a miracle. Well, the Hawks did it. I don't really understand. I thought last year was the year of the Atlanta Hawks in 2K, but apparently they're back this year as well. LeBron only 10 points in game 7. We've got one more game 7 though. Warriors versus Pelicans here. Again, I feel like there's a clear favorite. The Pels have a much more stacked roster, but of course when you have Steph Curry, you've probably always got a chance. This game 7 is coming down to the wire. We have a 1-point game here with a little over a minute to go. Ball's going to go into Lonzo. He's defended by Jordan Poole. Lonzo Ball, good to see him hooping in this video. He's going to get the ball on the 3-point line, pull it, and he misses. AD grabs the board, puts it up and in. Anthony Davis, a nice little putback. Still time left for the Warriors, though. Around 50 seconds remaining in the game. Jordan Poole working on Lonzo Ball. Going to pass it out to DiVincenzo. An open mid-range, and he misses it. Steven Adams grabs the board, gives it up to Lonzo Ball. Where is Steph Curry? Why is Curry not in? He has 42 in this one, and he is just not checked in the basketball game. Sure, 2K. Lonzo Ball, the lob up to Zion. Dante DiVincenzo mosses it. He goes ahead and steals it. He had Looney wide open on the fast break. Didn't give it to him. Now the ball is going to find its way to Looney, but AD's defending him. Looney kicks it out to Jordan Poole. Poole going to get the screen from Kevon Looney. Not a very good screen, though. Jordan Poole, shot clock winding down. He's going to pass it out to Boucher, over to Wiseman, back to Poole, and Poole's going to pull a terrible shot. He ends up missing it, and the Warriors are probably cooked in this one. I don't know why they didn't sub Steph Curry into the game. Okay, they ended up only losing by 1, but regardless, what a terrible decision. I don't know why the Warriors didn't have Steph or Clay in the game, but a big game for Lonzo, 28 and 10, Julius Randle, 29 and 8, AD, 24 and 12. Yeah, I mean, the Pels, they got a lot of options. Steph Curry tried his best with 42, but what can he do when he's not in the basketball game in the clutch? Now, all of our round 2 matchups are set. We've got Utah versus Memphis in the West. Donovan Mitchell and his Jazz ended up making the 1 seed, and they're taking on a really nice Grizzlies team. We got the Pelicans taking on the Phoenix Suns here. 2 teams that have a bit of beef going at it here in round 2. We got Philly versus Atlanta. I think it's clear who has an advantage in this series. I mean, just look at the Sixers roster. And then Brooklyn versus Boston. KD and Kyrie taking on JT and JB. Philadelphia is going to go ahead and make easy work of the Hawks, sweeping them. The Brooklyn Nets will lose in 6 to the Boston Celtics, and the Pels will beat the Phoenix Suns in 6 games. Leaving us with 1 Game 7, Utah versus Memphis. The Grizzlies came to play in Game 7, a 15-point dub over the 1-seeded Jazz. Donovan Mitchell with 27, but it's not going to be enough as Ja Morant has 30 and 13 to lead his Grizzlies to the dub. Now the Western Conference Finals are set. We've got the New Orleans Pelicans taking on the Memphis Grizzlies, and then in the East, we've got Philadelphia versus Boston. This Philly team, one of the more interesting storylines of the video, bringing back Jimmy Butler, who it seemed like wanted to be in Philadelphia, but they chose to pay Tobias Harris over him. And then the Sixers also have James Harden back on the squad, and of course Harden, he did not want to be there at all. New Orleans and Memphis are tied up at 2 apiece through 4 games, and Philadelphia is cooking the Celtics through 4 games. So let's hop in the Simcast for this Game 5 between the Grizzlies and the Pels. It's going to be the Pelicans getting the job done in game number 5. Zion with 25 points, Randall with 21 and 12. And for the Grizzlies, Ja Morant just didn't really show up in the way they needed him to. They end up losing. Philadelphia gentlemen sweeps the Boston Celtics to advance to the finals, and the Grizzlies are going to come right back in Game 6 behind a great performance from Jaren. So now we're going to a Game 7 between Memphis and New Orleans. Game 7 here, Pels versus Grizzlies. Grizzlies down by 5 points, but still about a minute 30 to go, and they have the ball. Ja Morant has it. He's going to get the screen from Santi Aldama. Morant looking to attack the basket. Goes right at Steven Adams. Misses, but Santi Aldama grabs the board. A nice fake. He didn't go up with it. And now he went up with it. He just postered Al Horford. What? Santi Aldama. I didn't know he had that in him. But he just postered Al Horford. And now the Grizzlies are within 3. Lonzo Ball going to pass it down to Anthony Davis. The double comes. And he's going to miss the shot. Jaren Jackson grabs the rebound. Ball goes to Dylan the Villain Brooks. Dylan Brooks defended by Zion. Gonna slow it down a bit, give it over to Tyus Jones. Ball finds its way to Ja Morant. Ja Morant gonna get the screen up top from Jaren Jackson. Triple J on the roll. He's wide open, and he's gonna dunk it home. Just like that, the Grizzlies go from being down 5 to down 1, and they don't need to foul here. They just need to get a stop. Lonzo Ball has it. Ball defended by Ja Morant. Going to give it down to Anthony Davis. Davis puts up a tough shot, and he makes it. Anthony Davis banks one home to put the Pelicans up by 3. Still 35 seconds to go. Grizzlies have the ball. They could tie it up with a 3-pointer. Morant at the top of the key, just slowing things down, taking his time. He's going to get the screen from Triple J. Morant passes it out to Jaren for 3, and Jaren misses it. That was a big shot there. It didn't drop for Triple J. And now Lonzo's going to the free throw line. First one is good. Chance to put the Pelicans up by 5 points here, and he's going to do exactly that. So the Grizzlies need, realistically, probably a quick 3. Kyle Anderson inbounds it to Ja Morant. Morant over to Desmond Bane in the mid-range. He's taking way too much time. It's going to go back out to Ja. Ja for 3, and he hits it. Ja Morant going to keep the Grizzlies in this game. It is still a 2-point game, so a chance here, especially if the Pels miss a free throw. It's going to go to Herb Jones. He's stepping up to the line. Maybe he can miss one here. First shot for Herb Jones is going to drop. It's all net. Chance to make it a 2-possession game here for Jones, and he's going to knock that one down as well. It might be over for the Memphis Grizzlies because in 2K they take way too long to get the ball off the floor. Ja Morant, another 3, and he misses that one. So this game is over with. The Pelicans will finish the job in Game 7. They've got a lot of firepower on their squad, and it ended up being enough to beat the Memphis Grizzlies and advance to the finals against the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, this Philly team is pretty tough. They've got Joel Embiid, James Harden, Jimmy Butler, Tyrese Maxey, and Caleb Martin. And checking out the Pels, of course, they have their dynamic duo of AD and Zion, but will it be enough to get through all those great players on the Sixers? Game number 1 of the series is going to go to Philadelphia, a pretty convincing 16-point win. Game 2 will also go to Philly, a 10-point dub. Game 3 will also go to Philadelphia, and game number 4 will go to New Orleans. They finally fight back, but it's too little too late. The Sixers will win the NBA championship. Joel Embiid takes home a finals MVP. That's where I'm going to wrap up the video. I hope y'all enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe. Have a great day. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.